Welcome to the Wolf Mother podcast. My name is Dana Harkis, and we will always begin by taking 3 deep breaths. So take a deep breath in through your nose, gently out of the mouth. Deep breath in again through the nose, gently out of the mouth again. Deep breath in through the nose. You're going to hold it at the top. And as you're holding on to it, when I say 1, you're going to let out a nice sigh. 3, 2, and 1. Today's episode, we will be discussing not being where you want to be. Somebody said this to me. This is the 4th time I am recording a response to this. So I hope that Great Spirit, God, and Universe allows this video that I am recording to be the final video that I am recording. But they said, comparing myself to other people's success on social media, I'm so bad for this, like on a daily, because I'm nowhere I want or thought I would be at my age. So there are a few different points that I want to hit here. And I want to just dive in right away to social media. Social media can either help or hinder us. Our environment that we live in can either help or hinder us. The people that we spend time around can either help or hinder us. So when we are scrolling on social media, it doesn't matter if it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even YouTube. The podcasts that we even listen to can do that to us as well, because there are definitely some people that I listen to their podcasts and I go at myself. I'm like, what the fuck? You're not where you're supposed to be. So all of this that we intake from social media, our phones, our laptops, the TV we watch, yada yada, it can either help or hinder us. One of the things that you can do that I discuss with some of my clients is having specific times that you are actually on social media. There are some apps that basically like block out when you can be on social media, which I think is a really great tool to be able to use. But if you have enough self-restraint, you can just allow yourself to, all right, once 5 o'clock hits, I don't scroll anymore, because that excess scrolling can really, in my opinion, hinder most people when it comes to comparing themselves. Now, with that being said, social media is a part of our world, so I don't want you to sit there and shame yourself for needing to for needing to recognize that you use social media. Most people in today's world utilize social media. People that don't utilize social media are definitely a different breed. And if you are a person that doesn't utilize social media and you are somehow, some way listening to this podcast, I guess on Spotify or YouTube, I consider YouTube social media, but maybe you don't. How the fuck did you find me? Because I assume most of you that listen to me speak have found me from social media. So what I'm trying to say is I don't want you to shame yourself. In 2023, social media is a part of our society, but it doesn't mean that social media needs to take over your life, but you are normal for being sucked into scrolling. See if you can set some boundaries around the idea of scrolling, okay? So that was kind of like the first point that I really want to hit. And then I want to dive into this comparing yourself for not being where you want to be at in your life due to your age, or looking at your age and being like, fuck, I thought I was going to be, for me, I am 26 years old. I did think I was going to be at a very different point in my life. If my high school self found out what I was doing right now, she would have a panic attack. She was a very type A, color-coded binder, pencil, notebook type woman, if you will. And I had everything planned out, right? And that is not what happened with my life. Life happened. The reality is, the world that we live in is geared towards being young and successful. There aren't many people that talk about the idea that when you get older, you still have the opportunity for success. We reward people who are 18 that go to college, that then at the age of 22, quote unquote, have their whole life figured out. Then at the age of 25, quote unquote, have their whole life figured out. Our society favors young people hitting their biggest successes and goals, when in reality, if you are in your 20s hitting your peak, if you're going to be living till you're fucking 80, that's rough, because the rest of your life is going to be comparing yourself to when you were 21, comparing yourself to when you were 25 and you hit those goals. So what I'm trying to say is recognize what we've been bred for. We have been bred for idealizing young success. And we're not, now, you know, I think as time has gone on, we're told about people having more success stories as they're older. But again, it's still not talked about, in my opinion, enough. It's not talked about to the point where you find out that people really started achieving their financial goals or their life goals in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. I'll put it to you this way. We just had a retreat this last weekend. If you're listening to this and you don't know about me, I am a space holder and facilitator. I host plant medicine retreats as well as retreats without plant medicine, but this weekend happened to be a plant medicine retreat. It had cacao, mushrooms, and combo. And the mushrooms that were served by a couple in their 60s. And although they've been doing this for years, and this is something that is present in their lives, when they were my age in their 20s, this was not on their plate. And one of them I was having a conversation with is studying under another teacher, and brought up the fact that it will probably take 5 years for them to complete what they are studying right now. And guess what? That didn't hold them back. Not only did it not hold them back, but it didn't make them feel bad about themselves. They recognized what they had the opportunity to do, which is continue to achieve things. So they've done things their whole lives. They have children, this, that, and the other thing. But it was so inspiring for me at 26 to realize that them in their 60s, they were finally doing the things that they are called to once they got into their 50s. And now in their 60s, they're even exploring even more things that they can learn and achieve. But that shit isn't talked about enough. It's not talked about regularly. So there's a bunch of us sitting around being like, what the fuck? This is not where I thought I was going to be at this point in my life. Sometimes it feels good to know that there's a bunch of people in the same boat as you. So to have community members to listen to, or maybe you listening to me right now, I'm not where I thought I was going to be at 26. Even now with the things that I do, I love the life that I have, but I'm financially not where I'd like to be. Career-wise, I'd like to do more things. But the reality is, at 26, if I had it all, what would I be striving for? What would I want to continue building up to so that when I'm 65, I could say, yes, I want to build even further to that. Of course, when you achieve things, you can find more things to open up to. But what I'm really trying to hit at right now is the idea that even when we think people have it all, and we compare ourselves to somebody that's the same age as us, and we say, oh my goodness, but they have, you know, I have clients that'll bring up, you know, they want to be married, they want to start a family, they want to have kids, you know what I mean? Or if you want to be financially where you want to be at, you want to own a home, you want to own land, you want to do this, you want to do that, and you look at other people that are the same age as you and you're like, fuck, they have that, why don't I have that? It's not for you to have right now. And I know that's kind of like a spiritually bypassy thing to say, but it's not for you to have right now. What you have in front of you is what you are meant to have right now. That doesn't mean in 6 months to a year, or maybe 5 years or 10 years, that you won't achieve that. If that's really a goal of yours, I guarantee you will have it when you are supposed to have it. Because a lot of times what we do when we scroll on social media or we hear about so-and-so from college, from high school, from quote unquote back in the day, we think, oh my goodness, they got there before we did. Again, our society was bred for celebrating the people that got there first, right? School was a competition. Like grade school, intermediate school, high school, it was all a competition. Even college, who's got the best grades, who has the most extracurricular activities, who's going to graduate first, and who's going to go on to achieve another degree, right? It's continuing to do those one after another, that while you're young, you achieve all these things. Peace really comes from within. And if you can recognize that maybe you don't have all of the things that you thought you wanted to have at this point in time, and you start finding that peace within you, because peace doesn't come from outside of us, right? Peace and understanding comes from within us. What you have in front of you, you have something to learn from it right now. That doesn't mean that it won't come in the future, and I don't want you to give up on your dreams and your goals and your aspirations. But I want you to really sit with yourself and think about it. If all of those things that I'm comparing myself to the person next to me, if I don't have those fucking things yet, then what is meant for me? Am I meant to have it later on? Or is there something else I am meant to have in the future? So, my other responses to this question or topic that was brought to me were much longer. I'm going to leave us here, and I'd really like to know what you guys think. I would like to know if you agree that society breeds us to be only proud of and support people that achieve things when they're young. We are living to be older and older and older, which is a beautiful thing. But if you have such a long life, why are we trying to cram it all into one place in time? If we've got so much time, don't you want the space and grace and peace and understanding to gently move into these things? Because sometimes we think we want something, and I've been there before. I've quote unquote manifested it, and it's all hit me like a ton of bricks. And even though I got what I wished for, it was too much on my plate. And so what you have in front of you is what you are meant to have right now. And that doesn't mean that what you want for yourself won't show up tomorrow. But see if you can have gratitude for what's on the plate right now, because tomorrow's plate could look a lot differently. Thank you so much for being here. Please rate this on Spotify, like and share on YouTube, come to our Instagram page, comment, email us, send us DMs, let me know what you would like to hear from us next. And many blessings to you and to yours.